Hello, beloved. How are you all doing? And thank you so much for tuning in. You are most welcome to the Linda Muyobo Show. I'm your girl, Linda Muyobo. And today we are going to be talking about health. The topic is bouncing back from a stroke. I chose this topic because the lady that I'm going to be talking to, who is going to be sharing her story, she's a fun lady. In fact, you wouldn't even know she had a stroke. She is just full of life. I'm just going to read a little bio of this fabulous lady before I introduce her. She is a proficient storyteller who uses the power of words to capture her audience attention. She gently holds your hand as she encourages you to step outside the provisional box and look at your life, your business, or your situation from a completely different perspective. She's a unique approach, and just like a chef in the kitchen, she will combine the flavors of everyday life with the wisdom of experience, hers and others, adding a sprinkle of wit and creativity to create an inspirational dish that has been known to make even the complex and challenging seems user-friendly. And it's very true, very, very true. She's an award-winning coach, holds a master's degree in marketing communications, and is the creator of the Personal Branding Spa, the place where executives, entrepreneurs, and business go to refresh and recharge their personal brands to position themselves for increased impact, influence, and income. So we're using all the I's here. This lady is a perfect example of life. Living life with a purpose and on purpose, consistently rising above the challenges that life throws at her. Even despite having strokes 2 times, she's risen above those challenges. Her response was simply to bounce back and declare loudly to anyone who would listen, life is what you make it. And she believes in the importance of giving back and is an ambassador for a stroke of luck, a charity working to make life better for stroke survivors. She may not have control over how her hand has been dealt, but she is choosing how she plays the game and encouraging others to help you do the same. Now, if I told you that this lady, this is her bio, and she's bouncing back from 2 strokes, you will not believe it. So why not call somebody, call your friends, and go grab yourself a drink and come on back before I introduce my guests. So go call somebody and come on back. We will be back in about 10 seconds. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming back, and I hope you call somebody and grab yourself a drink. Please welcome my fabulous, fun-loving, non-stopping, game-changer guest to the studio, none other than Carole Pike.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are a mentor, a coach, a speaker, a storyteller.
Yes.
Is there anything that you don't do?
I'm still working on some
You're
other
still
things.
working on it.
Yes.
But thank you so much for coming.
Thank
you for honoring my invitation.
Yeah.
Because I know you have a story to share.
Yes.
The tagline for this show is Honest Conversations Transforming Lives. And I know by talking to you today, lives are going to be transformed because of your story.
Yes. I'm here to make a difference.
That's what we're here for now, right?
Yeah.
To make a difference.
Yes.
So that even though you're gone, people remember, oh yeah, I remember Linda and Carole. They said this, they said that.
Yeah.
Now, Carole, today you're talking about bouncing back from a stroke.
Yeah.
Something that people who are watching, maybe somebody has gone through it, or they know somebody who is going through it right now. Take us to the day when you actually started experiencing a change in your health.
Well, it was a Monday morning, and I woke up and I had the worst headache I have ever had in my life. And that's saying something because I have a condition called lupus, and so I've had lots of different pains going on.
But
And
have you always suffered from headache?
no, actually, I think when I was younger, I used to have migraines, but in the last 20 odd years, I haven't had headaches. So this one was particularly unusual
Okay.
and extremely painful.
And where about was the headache? Forehead, back head, on the side?
It started on the right hand side, but
Okay.
it was just the whole head was just hurting. And I did what it is that any sensible woman would do, nothing.
Nothing.
I thought, do you know what? It's just a headache.
It'll go.
It will go. And so I spent the day in my friend's office, and I had to keep putting my head down to add some pressure to the head, just try and alleviate some of the pain. But it didn't work.
And this was on a Monday?
And this was on a Monday. And I went home and I spent the evening in bed, and then I spent the whole day on Tuesday in bed.
Did you take any painkillers?
I took painkillers throughout, but it didn't make any difference.
Didn't make any difference.
And then it was a Wednesday morning when a friend of mine called me, and it was kind of funny because for the first 2 days I wasn't answering any calls. There was no music, there was no sound. I was in silence.
Just sitting in a quiet house.
Yes. And they called me and said, "What's going on?" So I told them, because they said they hadn't spoken to me for 2 days.
They were concerned.
Yes. So I said, "Oh, about the headaches." And they then said, "So what time shall I call you to hear what the doctor said?" And I thought, oh, okay.
Now this is prompting you to go to the doctors,
Yes.
right?
But because I have a chronic condition called lupus, I avoided doctors at all costs because oftentimes they'd send me to the hospital.
Okay.
I'd spend 7 days in hospital and they would have no idea of what to do, and you'd just spend 7 days and then you'd come home.
And you
And I decided I wasn't doing that. So, but I reluctantly went to the doctor, and fortunately for me, I saw my GP who'd been with me throughout the years, and he just said,
So he understands your medical history.
yes, and
Which
he
I
also
think is
knows,
very important.
yeah, but also I never complain about pain. I've got a high pain threshold,
Okay.
so actually only when it goes above that do I actually talk about it. And so he said, "I know you, so we need to get this checked out.
Something is not right.
Something's not right." And the funny thing was that at the time my blood pressure was normal, so there weren't any indicators that there should be something wrong. But an hour and a half later in casualty, my blood pressure was 200 and something, over 100 and something. They did a CT scan and they found the bleed.
So you're having aneurysm.
So it wasn't an aneurysm, it was just a bleed
Just
on the
a
brain.
bleed on the brain. And which side of the brain was
On the
it?
right hand side of the brain. Which kind of then meant that, oh, I am staying in hospital. And for the first 12 hours...
How did you feel when you were told?
It didn't mean anything to me.
At
Because
the
I
time.
hadn't connected it to anything apart from a bleed in the brain. Oh, that explains the headaches.
Okay.
And it was only when it was that they had rung the neurosurgeon at another hospital to find out what they should do. And they came to me and said, the neurosurgeon says that they don't want to do surgery yet. And I thought, hold on a minute. My name is surgery in the sentence. That's not a good thing. And so I spent 12 hours in Lewisham Hospital. And then after the 12 hours, they were doing tests. My left side was weak and it seemed to be getting weaker. So they actually blue lighted me to King's College Hospital. And it really was lying in the back of an ambulance with the siren going that you suddenly think, oh,
Something is not right.
this isn't good. This is a little bit more than what it is I thought it was. Oops. And so I was at King's and I still hadn't put the connection together.
And at that time, even though they diagnosed the bleed, everything was fine.
Well, I still had weakness on the left
left-hand
side.
side, yeah.
But I wasn't clear that it was a stroke.
They didn't tell you
What's
either.
it? But this wasn't my first stroke, and I'm a stroke ambassador. So I
We'll
actually
come
know
to
about,
that.
I actually know about strokes, but I hadn't put those two things together. So I actually asked the stroke doctor, "Why am I seeing a stroke doctor?" And he said, "Because a bleed on the brain is a stroke." And I thought, oh, okay, so this is stroke number 2. Yeah. And then things seemed to go downhill from there. Because I actually walked into hospital, but then after all of these things kind of had gone on, I suddenly didn't know how to walk.
So from being transferred from Lewisham Hospital to King's.
Yeah. Then
You
all of a
couldn't
sudden now
walk.
I didn't know how to walk. Everything seemed confusing, and I didn't understand what was going on. So that was a bit strange.
Wow.
Yes.
And how long were you in hospital for?
Well, I was in hospital for, I think it was a total of 5 weeks, but I had I went into hospital for 3 weeks. I came out for 2 weeks and then went back into hospital for 2 weeks. And I actually did 3 different hospitals. So I've now researched 3 different stroke units and the
Okay.
type of care.
Mhm.
And so I can tell people about this. They don't need to do it for themselves.
Okay.
Okay, so you don't need to do it. Just ask me. I've been in 3 different hospitals.
And we are talking, this is the second stroke, so this happened in March?
It's happened in February.
In February.
Yes. I was celebrating 5 years since the first stroke, and for some reason I thought I'd just have another one. So,
Celebrate.
yeah. So if anybody wants to help me with my celebration techniques, that would be gratefully received.
You are so fun and fabulous, Carole. You know, no one would be sitting in this chair and laughing about their health.
Yes.
But I think when you take whatever challenges that life throws at you with a sense of humor,
Mm.
you can come out of it healthy and strong. Don't you think so?
Yes, I think that it's about not taking it too seriously, because and I'm not saying that it's not serious. I'm not saying that
course
there
it
aren't
is
struggles
serious.
and kind of like problems, but I'm choosing another way to look
deal
at
with
it,
it, yeah.
to be able to manage through every day.
So if somebody who is probably had a stroke and is sitting at home and watching right now, what would you tell them?
That it's a new beginning. Because one of the challenges with having a stroke or anything that happens to you that's major in that way is that you're always looking at what it was that you used to be able to do, who it was that you used to be, and it's a bit like a death. And that you need to mourn that person, but recognise that this is a new season, this is a new beginning, and you can only get wherever you want to get to from where you are. You can't do it from where it was that you'd like to be,
No.
where it was that you used to be. You can only get there where it is that you are. So I have challenges, but all it says to me is that is my starting point.
Would you like to share some of your challenges?
Well, first of all, I'm on 2 crutches, so my left side is still weak, and so I need crutches to mobilise. And if you've been anywhere in London, that you will know that getting around London on crutches
It's not easy.
is not easy.
It's not easy at all.
And so mobility is a challenge. In other ways, it feels a bit like being a newborn baby that's born into a world that they're unfamiliar with, and they have to learn how the world works and then how to operate in it. So there are lots of things that are not familiar to me that all feel quite new. It feels like this new adventure because there are places I have never been to before. There are things I have never done before. And so therefore I have to find ways to do them. And obviously it isn't that I haven't done them before, it's this
And do
I have
you
no memory
approach
of
it? Do you approach those new adventures with a positive mindset?
Yes, everything. So the whole idea of adventure, I think life's a great adventure and I'm an intrepid explorer. And my job every day is to tackle each adventure and enjoy it. Because I could spend the time telling you about how terrible this is and oh my gosh, this is really hard. And I could do that, but that doesn't benefit me and that doesn't help you because actually how can you help me with that? And so I'm saying these are the facts.
It's happened. Accept it.
Yes. But the truth is I'm alive and I've now taken that reason to be alive as being a major one because had I gone to the doctors on the Monday, I would be dead now because it would have just been seen as a headache or a migraine and they would have just medicated it. So I know the fact that I am alive, that God spared my life
For a
in
reason.
a very, very, very real way that actually I now need to do something with it. So I'm very focused on, okay, I'm alive. Oh, it's another day and I'm alive. Okay, so how can I show up on purpose and make a difference in somebody else's life? So I quite literally wake up every morning smiling. And the reason I wake up smiling is because I woke up.
But do you know what, Carole? What you're saying, a lot of times, able-bodied people, okay, don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
Okay. I know when I was talking to you earlier on, you mentioned something about everything that you're told or you're asked or you're spoken to, you take it literally.
Yeah. Yes, I've discovered I am slightly, although some people say that actually everybody is slightly on the autistic spectrum, One of the, I guess one of my greatest moments was being in the back of an ambulance and saying about how it was I was thinking and how it was I was feeling, and the ambulance driver saying, I totally understand you, because that's how it is that I think, and I'm a highly functioning autistic man. And actually that was the first time in this journey that somebody said that they understood me. And it felt amazing. And I thought, oh my gosh, maybe I'm autistic. So I went and looked it up, and actually, no, I'm not autistic. But there are elements of autism that actually that I experience. And so things like, one of the classics is, my friend's son was having a barbecue and sent out a text saying, come along, bring a bottle or a plate. Now I was clear that in a bottle there was drink, but I was confused about the plate. And my first thought was, oh wow, this is really exciting. You bring a plate and people put food on it. And then I got thinking, oh my gosh, does it have to be a particular kind of plate? And what happens if everybody's plate was different?
How would they know?
Yeah, because it said plate. It had nothing to do with food. And I never understood it in that way.
Prior to the stroke, you would have understood it differently.
Yeah, prior to the stroke, yeah. I was just like everybody else.
Sharing your story, Carole, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be empowered. Would you call yourself or consider yourself to be a stroke champion, a stroke triumphant, stroke ambassador, warrior?
I think that there's kind of a whole host of things. Like, so the term that's used all the time is that if you've survived a stroke, you are a stroke survivor, and that's the accepted term.
Yes.
But I would say that I'm a health warrior. And that I am triumphing over this stroke. In fact, I've said to the stroke, you're going to pay. I mean, the fact that you're here, that you are going to pay.
And he's paying for it.
This is it. You know, because it is something, it's not who I am, but it's something that is very much part of my life. And therefore, I acknowledge it, but actually that doesn't define what it is I can do, and what it is I can't do isn't that. In fact, quite early on, I said to myself, if there's something you want to do, the only reason not to do it is because you've changed your mind. I've not allowed myself to say, I can't do this because I've had a stroke. Because it would be a bit like saying, I can't do this because I'm a woman.
So the word cannot doesn't exist?
No. It's a bit like saying, I can't do this because I'm a woman, or I can't do this because I'm black. Because there isn't anything that I can do about either of those, and there's nothing I can do about the fact that I've had 2 strokes.
And you're here sitting sharing your story.
This is it. And I think that that's it for all of us, whatever it is that we're going through. And I think that's the important thing, is that we're going through it, is to share that with somebody else, because we don't know what impact that will have with somebody.
True.
Because I'm not saying to you, oh yeah, I had a stroke, it's all over and everything's fine.
No.
I'm walking through it every day.
And every day is a challenge, comes with its own challenges. You take it with a chin and let's go forward.
Indeed.
We are going to take a short break and we will be back. So go grab yourself a cup of coffee and we'll be back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming back. And of course, I'm here with Carole Pike. Now we are going to be talking about the one and only creator that guides you in everything that you do. And it's because of your faith.
Yes. It's interesting because I think that, so I've always believed in God. I was brought up in the church, always believed in God. And when I was in hospital, I was having some really sleepless nights because I couldn't find a comfortable place for my left leg. And I remember that the Bible said you should ask, which is really interesting because I didn't know how to walk and there was so much that I had forgotten. But there was only 2 things that I knew for sure. One was that God was real, and the other one was that I was loved.
But I like that thing you said, that you should always ask. You know, a lot of people don't ask, Carole.
Oh, but it was, and what was really powerful for that was I didn't ask for healing. I didn't ask for the pain to go. I asked for a cuddle.
Oh.
I asked for Jesus to come and cuddle me. And I turned to my right and there was a man in my bed. And I knew that it was Jesus. And I just turned my back and I went to sleep. And then there were mornings where I woke up and there was a face looking down at me, smiling. And at one point, Jesus said to me, "You are at peace, I am with you." And I thought,
Wow.
oh wow, this is so cool. And then there was another morning where I woke up. I now know I wasn't awake, but I woke up and written on the wall in front of me, it said, "I am living my best life." I turned to my right and Jesus was there and he was moving a green chair. And I thought, oh, I'm living my best life, which is a choice that I'm making because it's not about the situation or circumstance. It's about how it is I'm choosing. It's how you are choosing to play the game. And Jesus was with me. So if I'm living my best life and Jesus is with me, hey, it's all cool.
What more can you ask for?
This is it. And so therefore, anything that comes my way, there's always going to be a way to get over it, under it, round it, through it, because I'm living my best life and Jesus is with me.
And I think having that reassurance and strengthening your faith through that time that you're going through is very important.
And I realised that this is a choice that I have made. I don't know where it was that I made it or even how it was that I made it, but I'm now conscious that it's a choice because originally I thought that the way it is that I see things, so I have no fear, no worry, no anxiety, no regret, because I quite literally have no frame of reference for it.
And that is because of the stroke that happened on your right hand side.
Well, I'm thinking now that it's a combination of stroke and actually my choice to believe that everything is possible because of the God I serve.
Okay.
Because there doesn't seem to be major evidence of this kind of thing happening to anybody. I spoke to a friend of my mother's who's been a nurse for 40 odd years, and she said all of the stroke survivors that she's met, none of them think the way that I think. And so that's really interesting. But I've always known that I was unique.
Of course.
So this
you
is
have
just,
to be unique.
this is just proof positive that really is true.
Now I want to touch on the facial blindness.
Yes, it's a really interesting one because I didn't know that was a problem until I went out one day with the physio and I went to my local shopping centre for the first time and there were people that came and said, "Carole," and I said, "I don't know you." And they said, "But yes you do," and then told me the context and I realised that, oh, I don't recognise you, but when it is you're talking to me, I can put the pieces together, but actually I've never seen you before. And so that's happening more and more. So I find on a daily basis, I'm quite often saying to people, "I'm really sorry, I don't know who you are. And the reason is I had a stroke," and yeah.
So please don't get upset if Carole just walked past you. Just understand that she's suffering from facial blindness because of the stroke. And if you know a family member who is going through the same thing, just encourage them and support them. And most importantly, be there for them.
Yeah, no, that's really, really important because the world has changed for me. In major ways. So things like I don't have a memory of major memories before the stroke. In fact, it feels like my brain has archived everything and only...
So it's in your subconscious mind?
Yes, somewhere.
Somewhere.
Some of it, it's not ever touching on, and other parts, if it's contextual, it will bring it forward. And if it's about the here and now or moving forward, then my brain's interested. If it's about keeping stuck or going back, my brain has said, nah, no. I'm out of here. So I've got this, I guess, enviable position where I am not tied to my past. So stuff happens, it happens in the moment, I'm in the moment, and then when it's finished, I'm on to the next moment. And so I don't hold on to anything. So I jokingly say that if I've offended you or upset you in any way, I really do apologise. And no, you're the only person that remembers, because I don't have a clue.
She's apologized on the Linda Muyobo show. So if you're holding a grief against Carole, forgive her.
Yes.
Because she can't remember.
Yes.
And what's the point of holding it anyway? What good has it done to you?
It's true.
What good has it done to you? Nothing at all. Carole, you know you're an exceptional woman.
I'm beginning to learn that and I'm owning it. So thank you so much for saying that.
No, you are. You are. Because a lot of times, even just a slight headache, somebody who maybe has a little pain on the leg or whatever it is, they take it so hard on themselves. Yeah. And they're thinking like, oh yeah, that's the end of my life. But it's not.
Yeah, but it's
not.
About
accepting where you are and what has happened to you and how you can move on from there.
Yeah, because that's it. It's all about having the vision. It's really important to look at where do I want to get to? What do I want to achieve? And whatever your situation or circumstance is right now, all that says is that is your starting point.
That's true.
Because you can't start from where it is you'd like to be. You can't start from where you used to be. You could only start from where you are. So acknowledge it. And that doesn't mean that you're accepting it and saying, no, it's just acknowledging that this is where I am.
Starting a new life.
Yes, it's kind of a new beginning. So there are lots of people that prayed for me to get back to normal. I thought for a long time that they'd invented a time machine because everybody keeps talking about going back. What's that about? But this is my new normal. I jokingly refer to myself as Carole 2.0. A new and improved version.
And I'm sure you're listening to their prayers and wondering what on earth are they praying for. I'm good at where I am.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
I'm really enjoying myself.
It's a new space, a new
It's
opportunity.
a new space,
yeah.
a new opportunity, a new life, a new way of looking at things, a new way of doing things. Yes, it comes with its own challenges, but you are walking in it.
Yeah. But I think the reality is life is an obstacle course. Life is full of challenges, whether it's a health challenge, relationship, financial, it's full of challenges. And that we have to say, okay, I acknowledge that, but do you know what? I know where it is that I'm going. And more importantly, I know who I am, which means that you have greater strength and greater power than actually that you realise.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the show. And if you haven't learned anything from it at all, then watch this program and learn something. It all stems from forgiving, accepting, and moving on from what life has happened to you. As for Carole, she's moving on. She's accepted. She's a speaker. She's a coach. Even in crutches, she's moving around London giving speeches to encourage people, to inspire people, to motivate people that this is not the end of the road. And it's definitely not the end of the road for you either. As long as you can still wake up in the morning and breathe, there's still life. There's still life. And with God, all things are possible. Thank you so much for watching. God bless. Bye-bye.